Okay, good day everyone. Today's lecture will be focusing on social networking for integration. Everybody knows that in today's computer era, everybody is in the social media trying to connect for everyone, and therefore this topic, social networking for integration, especially among social study students and of course the teachers and would be teachers and students of social um, sciences. This is very relevant, especially in today's era where everybody wants to be connected, wants to be socially amiable through the computer network or through the internet. So let us once again go back to where this thing started. So let us try to go back to what a computer is. So what is a computer? Actually, a computer is a device like your cell phone, like any other device. The computer is able to do that a device can do. But what kind of device it is? Actually, it's a programmable device. So a computer can be programmed. It can be plays a OS, an operating system, in order for the computer to run. So it's a device, it can be programmed. And of course, computer usually are good for safekeeping because you can input, you can type therein, and then you can process it later on if you need it. You can go back in it. So it's a device that can be programmed for safekeeping or the input and of course the output. And it can also perform mathematical or logical operations. But definitely, the computer will only act based on what you input, based on what you do to the computer or what you did to the computer. So absence of any input, the computer has nothing to do. But it can perform mathematical as well as logical operation faster than the regular calculator or the ordinary devices that have been used. That is where computers started, from the root word compute, that is to compute in order to aid large numbers, make it more easier for big companies and any other and other work that the computer can do. That's supposed to be the basic thing to do or thing to perform by the computer. But as years go by, as time goes by, computer has evolved to many functions, not only for mathematical or logical operations, but it's also evolved to many other functions. And what is very rampant or very relevant today is the use of it as a connection to the outside world, as a connection to the many other people around the globe. When you type in a computer, for example, anything, a letter, a number, a word, a paragraph, the computer usually processes it. So that's what we call the data processing. So data processing involves a process. So it processes things that you do in the computer. So it processes. It also transforms data into information because the data that you input will be complete, and that will become an information which you can classify. That's why when we input, when we type, for example, in the computer, especially in the Excel, we can classify it. We can do separating or classifying, like sorting or other things you can do in order for the particular data be transformed into an information. Or you can also merge. Sometimes two cells are needed to be one only, so we merge it. We can also do the retrieval operation through the input that we do. We can return back to it. We can get back to it by opening those saved documents or saved uh, PDF, saved sheets. That's what we do actually when we retrieve. We open what we have done before, what we saved before, then we retrieve it by opening it back, and that's actually part of data processing. Sometimes we do reporting with the use of the internet, with the aid of the internet, the computer. Data are processed through reporting or sorting, A to Z or vice versa, Z to A, highest to lowest, or from lowest to the highest. We sort data, and that's part of data processing. We record data. So now that it's becoming more uh, high tech, technology is getting high, it's updating every second. We need also to enjoy recording of our videos, recording of our lectures. That's part actually of data processing. Then transmitting, like sending emails, like receiving emails. That's part of the transmitting, and that is very very helpful, especially in this time of pandemic where people are not used to moving out because of the fear of the pandemic, because of the fear of contracting the COVID-19 disease. But what they do now, most of the companies like the BPOs are work from home. Their staff are on work from home, and therefore they simply transmit data and information via the social media platform or the internet. That's something that is very helpful today because we wanted to be safe always while we are working. So we want to stay home, help others not to spread it, and help ourselves to be protected from this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, after we process the data, we were able to secure now, or we were able to have now the information. And information is the end product of what we did, what we done after we process information, after we process the data, we got now the information. So that's the end product. For example, we print already the paragraph that we type, so we already have the end product, which is the essay. For example, if it's an essay that we type, that we process, then if you printed it out or we're able to make it already finished, then you already have the end product. So it's complete. It's the end product, or it could also be called our output. So that's part of the information. Sometimes we also said it's a processed data because it has undergone the data processing technique. So we call it also a processed data. The same, it's an information. And out of this, we were able to draw conclusions. After we have already typed, after we have already encoded, then we print it out. Or even if we do not print it, we were able to draw conclusions out of this information that we got from processing the data. So that's the information. Now, we now come to the word social networking. Well, very, very common to us now is the word social media. Social media in the sense that we have the different media platforms where we can connect to people. Gone are the days where socialization is actually face to face, that you need to look for friends from your neighborhood, or before it's sending letters, pen pal. We still have the pen pal that's sending letters, where you also where it's part also of socializing, only that it's not with the aid of the computer or with the network, with the internet, but the usual, the basic definition of what a socialization is. Learn how to mingle with other people. That's the basic socialization. But now it's friends upon friends, listing of many, many people from different and from all sorts of life, from all walks of life. So that's part of social networking. People who do not know how to talk uh, face to face or in person, they were able to communicate it in the social media. So social networking actually is a connection through the computer. We connect to people through the computer. That is why I tell you a while ago, why do we need to understand the the computer and the basic of the computer? Because social networking is actually connecting through the computer or through the cell phone. Nowadays is more of a cell phone because it's handy. You can carry it wherever you go. And unlike the computer, it's bulky, except if it's a laptop or a handy laptop. But it evolves actually through the years. Connection upon connection has been changing from then computer, actually the personal computer, the big one. Then now it's through the um, cell phone and etc. Other gadgets that we are using. Of course, it is internet aided. Social networking will be hard. Actually, it is hard today because of the internet, of the connection that we have. Sometimes it's very slow to none. Sometimes it's fast, but very short. In the speed, it's very fast, but then it's very short. So, social networking actually is aided by the internet. It is very easy to connect to people around the world when you have the internet right in the very comfort of your homes. We understand that our connection from our telcos, whatever kind of telcos actually, whether they say that's fiber optic or it's very high end, high tech, at the end of the day, we still have the problem. At the end of the day, we still have the difficulties in accessing these things. So we cannot say that because of the computer or of the internet that is set on a fiber optic, that we are already assured that it is a very good connection. But actually, whatever type, whether it's fiber optic, in our place now and in our country, internet is still, the reality is low, poor, to sometimes no connection at all. Because social networking will not be possible without the aid of the internet. So it's an internet aided networking. So of course we use also the social media platforms. Actually, we have the famous, most common to us, and many are using Facebook, for example. So that's a social media platform where, of course, we list friends, friends upon friends, common friends or mutual friends, friends of your friends, and so other. That's why it is very hard to say privacy in a social media like Facebook, because even if you did not set it on a public. For example, you just set it for friends upon friends who can see your pictures are only your friends, but your friends of friends and of friends, they can see it actually. So it's very hard to claim privacy violation that you did not intend to share it to a particular person because of the fact that social media is connecting to other even if they are not connected to you. So that's the social media. Of course, in social networking, there are rules and regulations that you need to follow. As I was discussing, was telling to you a while ago, for example, privacy rules and regulations that you need to understand in using the social media. So there are indeed guidelines that you need to follow strictly if you want to protect your privacy or if you want to protect your accounts in whatever social media platforms, because there are rules and regulations which you have to abide. Otherwise, if you violate it, the social media platform might remove you or might block you. But more particularly is the distraction that it can do to you, to your family, and to everybody else that loves you. So we really, really need to follow the rules and regulations that we have in using the social media as a as our social networking platform. So we have the netiquettes. When we say netiquettes, these are the ethical standards or the ethics in the use of the net. If you learn to follow the netiquettes, then you will be able to enjoy a, a social media use. And of course, you will be also safe from bashing. You will also be safe from rudeness. You will also be safe from unpleasant words because you yourselves is very ethical in using the uh, internet. While we are trying to connect with people, while we are trying to connect with everybody else around the world, let us also remember that we need to follow ethics of life. We need to follow our value laden and ethical standards of life because we are not alone in the social media. There are a lot of people connected to us, and each time we click, each time we tick, we will be sending message to all the people with unique characteristics, to all the people with different point of views. And that is why we need to be very careful, considering, of course, the ethical standards or the netiquettes. Okay, so as I was telling you, there are social media platforms, and the most famous, should I say, Facebook is one because, well, after, if you could still remember Friendster before, we have this friend whom we are looking for a very long time because she's a good friend of us. What we did is we searched the Friendster before. Well, we just searched the name of our friend in the Friendster. We type, of course, the complete name. That's where we find her. That's we started communicated to her, and that's where we started um, updating, updating with one another. That was in Friendster. But Friendster, I'm not sure if in 2011 or 2012, Friendster it's no longer in operation. I don't know if it was bought by another company. And then we have this Facebook. Facebook. So many of us are using the Facebook as our means of communicating to other. We post mostly our pictures of events, wherever we go, whatever we do. We posted it in the Facebook, and our achievements also. Some even their fears, some have even their failures are posted in FB, and even previous lessons, previous undertakings were also posted on Facebook, that sometimes it's being tracked for purposes of history. Why these things happen to this person, trying to go back to the Facebook posts, they realize, well, this person is already undergoing anxiety, depression, even before committing these things, or even before undergoing these things. They have already posted it, and mostly in the Facebook. And I know, and many of you are using Facebook. Let us just remember the safety protocols in using the Facebook. Then I am also a Twitter user. So you can also follow me in the Twitter, Bog Spilling on Twitter. So more on tweet on news, personalities like our actors and actresses mostly are posted on Twitters. The following are trending in Twitter, though it also cross border with Facebook. You can share it in Instagram, or Facebook, Twitter to Facebook, and vice versa. But most of us are also using Twitter for purposes of following a particular person, particular events, particular agency, or a broadcast industry, giant broadcast industry updates. So sometimes we look at it in the Twitter, but that Twitter is also a social media platform. There are people who become well known not because of Facebook, but because they are using also Twitter. They become trend. They become a trend in Facebook or in Twitter. So it's trending in Twitter, and there are so many people using that. For picture sharing, accordingly, uh, according to a proverb, pictures speak a thousand words, or picture speaks a thousand words. If you wanted to post, share, mostly pictures, even without typing any information about the picture, use Instagram. That's why when you click, you say it's Instagrammable. Well, Instagram is one social media platform too. We have also the linked, and also Tumblr. These are some of the social media platforms that are available for us, connecting to people, letting people know that we are present, even though miles apart or distance apart. And of course, there are other social media platforms like YouTube, and of course, what else? Sometimes it follows the advertisement too. If you want the advertisement on video, on pictures, there are also available social media platform for particular advertisement. So what are the basics in social networking? What are the things that we need to do? These are very important because we will have problems if we will not follow it. If we will not follow it, rather. these are the basics that we need to understand when we use our social media platform, when we connect to people using social media. So one is the so-called, ayan, we create an account. Every social media platform or every social media outlet requires creation of an account. So first thing first, if you want to be a member or to be part of it, that particular social media platform, you need to create an account. Actually, in creating an account, you need also to know or to understand your purpose because you are the one creating your account. So, what is your purpose in creating that particular account? Because there are now, for example, in Facebook, it has also evolved in pages where you can do business uh, account for your business, or you can create a business account like pages for a particular business that you have. So that's your purpose, is creating an account for your business. Then you create an account bearing the name of your business. If it is for personal purposes, so simply you create an account for personal use. So it will not bear any other else except your identity as a person or your personalities or personal information. That will be your purpose. So you need to understand what your purpose is, because that is where you start when you create an account. You need also to consider your audience. Your audience. Why? Uh, a senior citizen might be funny according to the senior citizens, or a youth may be interesting according to the youth, or a child is likable, but most of the children do not have an account. So we need to understand who are our audience, who are our frequent viewers. I do not know if you can do a survey first before you can create an account, but seldom that it is done for personal account, but mostly uh, for those who are business oriented. They have the audience survey of what particular things that they need to post or that they need to create in order for their account or for their page be likable or shareable, or it is being frequently visited by their audience. So understand your audience too. Of course, the services. I have a friend who has a an auto works business. So his service is selling an auto parts, auto supplies. So you need also to understand that since your service is more on auto supplies, so you need to connect to people with cars, with services or offering services for cars. So that's one thing that you need to understand also when creating an account, because that will make your presence in the social media visible and credible, because upon click of a particular service or product, then that is where you are. So see to it that it is appealing to the people and that you are very, very honest that what you posted there is really the service or the goods that they will be receiving if they will order or if they will post an order from that particular service or goods provider company or person. And of course, you need also to consider your place or your location. Why I am telling you to consider place or location? Because there are some places, some locations which has or have restrictions to a particular social media platform. They do not allow their people, sometimes they do not allow their people to become members of a particular social media network, especially if that particular social media network is branded as uh, unauthorized to operate in a particular place or location. So, if you do not want to be subjected to a restraint, if you do not want to be subjected of a uh, suit, so be very careful by letting know or by knowing what are the restrictions in your particular place or location. And also, uh, you need also to understand, as I was telling you a while ago, that our internet connection in our location sometimes is very hard. We cannot connect easily. So you need also to understand what particular app or social media platform is accessible in your area. That's where you also connect or open or create an account. Yan. So, internet connection. Well, it's included letter E, internet connection. Because most of the people that I talk about internet connection in our place there, it's very, very hard to connect, especially at the peak season or at the peak time. So we need to wait till the wee hours that most of the people are sleeping so we could connect easily. That is one thing that you need to consider because uh, in social networking, we need a very good internet connection. Understand also in creating an account your local policy direction. Why you need to understand the local policy direction? There are also rules that are not applicable in one particular local area. So sometimes age restriction is one consideration in creating an account. So very, very careful because you might be traced and that your account might be flagged down and then that will be considered as an illegal account. So let us be very careful in considering local policies or directions when it comes to social networking and opening an account in one social media platform. Okay, so most of the opening account system of a particular social media platform is that a name is always asked. So they ask for a name. Sometimes we can say that's optional because, well, they do not require submission of birth certificate. I do not know if there is any social media platform who ask for a birth certificate before they approve, before they give approval to a particular account open. So there is no such thing as birth certificate being asked or being required. So we can say that it is optional. So you can give your real name since nobody asked for birth certificate, nobody know your real name. So you might give your real name for purposes of easy contact tracing, not because of COVID, but for your friends, relatives, acquaintances, when you give your real name, they just simply type it in the search engine, then we can, or you're already located. Or you can also give a pseudonym. Sometimes our pseudonym are the name or are the names that we are most familiar with the people in the community. So you may give your pseudonym, not your real name, but the name that you are usually called or that you are usually familiar with the people around you, the people in your community, in your family, with your acquaintances. So you might give your pseudonym, not your real name. Or it could be a combination, your real name plus a pseudo surname, or a real surname plus a pseudonym or a pseudo given name. That could be a combination. And again, as I was telling you, since there was no birth certificate requirement, then nobody will tell if it is really you. So again, you might give your real name, your pseudonym, or a combination of both. There are some platforms that required the real name. So that could be a mandatory requirement. It's up to you to give your permission to give your real name, because that will be, well, the consent will always come from a social media user. Another thing that is being asked among our social media platforms, age or birthday. Age or birthday. Sometimes you are feared that people might know that you are already old. Sometimes you are afraid that people might not greet you during your birthday. Or sometimes you are also curious if you give your birthday and who will greet you. That's age or birthdays. And many do not give an exact age of birthday. And worse, there are young people using the internet, and therefore they are not aware that they are not yet allowed to use the computer or to become member of social media uh, platform. Then they tell a lie in the real age or real birthday. So again, it is optional naman. It means that you are not also required to submit birth certificate in order to see your real birthday or your real age. But again, when you give your birthday, you might give your day, your month, and the year of your birth. So it's complete. That social media platform can easily detect that you are already at age or that you are already allowed if there is an age requirement. So you give your day, your month, and year. Your friends can greet you because, for example, Facebook will say that the following is uh, celebrating their birthday today, who else celebrate their birthday yesterday, who will celebrate birthday tomorrow. Di ba? Yan. Those things are becoming knowledgeable to the people because of your given day, month, and year in the Facebook. Some people just give day and month of birth. They do not give the year. Well, you know already the reason. They do not want to count their years. They just wanted to celebrate their birthday, but not their age. So they just give the day and also the month of their birth. And others give only their birth year or the year of their birth. So they just count their age but not when to celebrate it. They simply count the age. nothing to celebrate. In some other cases, it's mandatory. For example, um, for kids channel, it's mandatory. So you give your correct birthday and age. Another thing that you need to understand is the so-called privacy rules. Usually, when you are using a social media platform or when you are in social networking, always read the privacy rules of that particular social media platform. Why do you need to understand the privacy rules? Because that is where you give your consent as to how they can utilize the personal details or information that you provided to them. So if you are knowledgeable enough of the privacy rules of that particular company, then you are safe and secure. Your information is not used in any other unreasonable and illegal act. So read, understand each privacy rules from each of the social media platforms. Again, it is optional. You can give consent because they are also asking if you are allowing a particular media outlet, social media outlet, to release information about you or to give uh, the information to others because you give your consent. Or you can also give not your consent. That's a thing that also the social media platform cannot do otherwise. So if you did not give the consent, so the social media platform have nothing to do also with that. You can give consent to some, that's another thing. You can give consent to something or you can give consent to none. You just click or you tick a particular applicable box or circle, which is usually asked by a social media network or when you are registering or opening an account to them. And of course, some privacy rules are mandatory. It means to say that you need to give your uh, consent. It's up to you. If you do not want to give them, do not open an account. Otherwise, you will be mandatorily required to give a consent. Now, there are also social media platforms which require parental roles or parenting roles. It means that parents are involved in the opening, accessing of the social media outlet of their children. So of course, sometimes parental consent may be given because the parents know that somebody is opening. That's one thing, and therefore that parental consent may be given, or parental consent also not needed. But for example, if you are a parent and you are a working parent, you let your children to their nannies, to their yayus, and you have an internet access in your home, you can set that particular social media outlet in a kid's setting. And if it is not, it will alert you as a parent that it is being open not for the kids, but for adult or consenting adult. So you will be alerted. A text message, an email, or any other way that you will be informed as a parent that somebody is accessing the account, but not for kids, but for adults. So you will be informed. There are apps already for that particular purpose where children are protected from unscrupulous nannies or older siblings which are not authorized to access the account. So you may also give parental consent to some and of course parental consent to none. And some are mandatory. Some sites are mandatory for parents' roles, or for example, there are classrooms, online classroom nowadays where not only the students are enrolled, not only that the teachers are there and the learners, but it includes also the parents of the learners who are enrolled in that particular online classroom. So it means to say that parents are playing an important role in the online safety of their children. Okay, if you already have an account, so need to log in. If you have already an account in FB, in YouTube, in Twitter, in Instagram, in Tumblr, you need to log in the account. So, to log in, you are usually required to type your username or login account. That is where you input the things that you are required to register during your creation of account. So if you are already done in creating an account, then the next step is logging in into the account you created. One thing that I can share now is with the social media network, our parents, especially our older our old in the house, instead of chit chatting with the neighbors, doing some some of our uh, folks, our older folks, they are playing in triquatros in the neighborhood. But with the advent of the social media, instead of doing those, they are enjoying chatting, messaging, or they are using the social media platform to blog, 'di ba? So they are enjoying in the later part of their life. They were able to achieve things which are not done during their early years, during their early age. So it is very, very important for us to know that these things are happening because of the social media, and social networking is very, very important. So in logging in an account, always remember to have a password. So your password is your unique passage to your account. Password must be personal. It must be there are actually application which you can already check if your password is 100% safe, or if your password is 100% approved to the uh, app for checking password, because that will be uh, your safety net for your account. Your account will not be accessed by anybody else because it is being protected by a password. And anything that happened to your account, because there are also cases of phishing nowadays. Phishing as in PHISHING, not the usual fishing of or coating fish, but fishing. There are already unscrupulous people, actually most commonly known to us as hackers. But actually the case is phishing, where personal accounts, including password, are being uh, accessed by these people, unauthorized people, and trying to get as much as information, and sometimes even worse is they were able to sell us. They were able to create debt in our behalf, in our name, trying to show to the world that the real account owners is the one transacting business, but actually these are the fishers, people who are hacking, trying to get information by accessing our username and trying to get much of us by accessing also with the use of the password that we created. So let us be very careful. Do not share your password to anybody else. Do not let other people use your password. So change your password from time to time in order to protect your identity. Next, there are also media company, social media company, which sends you an email whenever you access your account in any other device. I remember Google. Google is allowing me to know that I log in any other laptop other than the usual laptop that I am using or other than the phone that I am using. So the Google Tracker will inform you. So that's one way of protecting the account of their user. So we also confirm our email or our number, or they give us the code which we are going to type in order for us to be confirmed that we are indeed the real owner of the account. And that's one way of protecting their members, of protecting their users. Without that, it will be impossible for us to know who are the users. But with this, so do not say, I do not want to give a confirming, that's another thing to do. Or I do not want to give my number because that is another thing to do. What if I lost my number? What if I was able to forget bringing my cell phone? Where will I confirm? So those are the dilemmas. But actually, that is one way of protecting us from unscrupulous people trying to access our account using our username and our password. And these people are getting a lot from those who are not actually doing safety precautions. And some also of our media platform have this recovery email or number. This recovery email or number, if you forgot your password, you can also recover it by sending mails to the recovery email or to the recovery number that we registered during our creating an account session. So this is how you log in. And if you are already there, then you can already scroll, you can already search, you can already look, and of course, you can already connect to people from your place to the other place, to the other place, and around the world. That is also the advantage of knowing social network through the different medias, social media platforms that we have today. So I hope that you are enjoying from all walks of life, have already the social media account, and logging in, always consider the very best is the safety of everybody else, not just you as the social media owner, social media account owner, but also to all the people that are reading, subscribing, sharing, and liking your post. Be very careful of what you post. What you think is not always the same as the other people. So let us be very careful to that. And the last topic that I will be sharing to you this morning is, of course, by the way, there are still further protection. The very important thing that you need to do after accessing your account is logging out. So how to log out your account? Well, some people, especially if they are logged in into their cell phone, well, you say it's very safe. I am the one owning it. I have set privacy protection for my cell phone. It can only be open by recognizing my face or by recognizing my thumb, by some other way like pattern, password, numbers before it can be open. So sometimes if it is private, like it's your cell phone or your personal computer or laptop, you do not log out. Well, it I can say that it's also safe, but uh, we must also ensure that our personal computer or our laptop is also protected so that before they can access to your account, must access first to your personal computer or to your laptop. But if you are using it in an office transaction or in an office work, well, it is very hard to say that's personal because everybody else can access. So you need always to log out. Or if you are using it through your cell phone. I have talked to a friend who usually forgets her password. So the best thing that she did is not to log out because she always forgot her password. So according to her, in order for her to access her account, it must be logged in always. So she did not log it out in the cell phone. But the cell phone is protected. Uh, Only her face is the one recognized by the cell phone before it can be opened. So I told her just pray that your cell phone will not be uh, especially the camera will always be protected. Otherwise, if the camera is not functioning anymore, then you also have a problem in accessing your personal account in the social media platform that you have. So again, it's up to you. Well, cell phone is really private. We do not allow anybody else to use it without our permission. So that's one thing that that you might be protected to that. But for assurance that you are indeed safe, always log out. And of course, in your other personal gadgets, you are sometimes not careful. You do not also log it out, but see to it that you have protection also to your gadget so that it will not be accessed by any other else. And if you are using a public computer, you are in a computer shop, you are in a pesonet, ensure that after you use it, after you use a public computer, you are able to log it out because that can be very risky. There are so many people using our public internet system. Good now are our computer shops are not that before. There are so many people in the public computer shops, but now seldom that you can see that there are open computer shops because of the pandemic. Of course, I ask everybody to pray for these businesses because these are businesses that are losing money also because of the pandemic. So let us pray that everything will be okay, that everything will be safe, and everything will be back into normal, not this new normal, because this new normal is dragging us so much problem in health, problem in food, problem in relationship, and so many other else. So hope that this basic social networking topic help everyone, especially in using, accessing our different social media platform. Always remember, you are not the only one using the social media platform, but it is a network of people from around the globe. Be safe, be secure. Always remember, think before you click.